Hello. How's everyone tonight? Good, good. I'm glad you guys countered my quietness being a little loud. It was very quiet in here, it felt like before. Thank you so much for coming out tonight. Let's hear it for yourselves for braving the parking in Saratoga tonight. We are here to read our own poems after, but first we're going to hear the wonderful Melissa Anderson. Yeah. Melissa has been coming to this open mic for a few years, I think since the renovation. She adds so much to the night every time she reads. She's a great performer. Her work is really well made. And I found out recently she used to come here as a teenager also, which, yeah, isn't that great? Let's just keep applauding Melissa for all the different things. So she is from this area. She's a multidisciplinary craftsperson. And you know what? I got so carried away with welcoming Melissa, I forgot to read an opening poem, but I caught myself. I usually catch myself after I've sat down. Like, oh, I forgot. All right, this is by William Stafford, and it's called Poetry. The door opens near. It's a shrine by the road. It's a flower in the parking lot of the Pentagon. It says, look around, listen, feel the air. It interrupts international telephone lines with a tune. When traffic lines jam, it gets out and dances on the bridge. If great people get distracted by fame, they forget this essential kind of breathing, and they die inside their gold shell. When caravans cross deserts, it is a secret treasure hidden under their jewels. Sometimes the commanders take us over, and they try to impose their whole universe, how to succeed by daily calculation. I can't eat that bread. William Stafford. All right, back to Melissa. She's from upstate New York, maybe left for a little while, now's back. She's a multidisciplinary craftsperson. She co-runs the Slam at Cafe Euphoria. She co-slams the poetry team, Slam Euphoria, and she hosts a bi-monthly poetry open mic at Cafe Euphoria in Troy. She has published some of her poems, but she is now has her first poetry collection called Dogstar Poems. It's published with Main Street Rag Press. Let's welcome to the stage Melissa Anderson.
Okay. Yes, as Carol said, I did start coming here when I was maybe 16, maybe technically younger if you count awkwardly being the one person reading a poem at the music open mic when my sister took me along. But it was it was great to be back and to see this newly renovated space when I started coming again was very fun. So Dogstar Poems is a book largely about the last 5 years of my life, which has been pretty tumultuous, moving cities, jobs, relationships, just constantly in motion, it feels like. And so the poems in here I think of them as navigations through that and kind of learning to trust your instincts and trust knowing how to move forward. So this first one is called Refrains. Here is the chorus, rivers and the bends in them, the turn towards spring, and mud, and my footprints in it, and thaw, and ice cracking on the river, and the water filling in my footprints in the mud, and homes, and time, and the way homes are made of time and history of homes or not. Here is the chorus. ghosts and bloodletting, and prayers for the storm, and prayers for the storm to pass, and hometowns, and rivers, and the ugly, precious cities they cradle, and my hands, and my mother's hands, and the time that will wear one into the other, and the spring that brings it closer every year. Here is the chorus. Daffodils, lilacs, the resilience of the ephemeral, the cold air, the cold water, the warm sun, and the dogged trek ever toward it, and the tracks we wear like riverbeds into the landscapes of our lives, carving down into the loam of them forever, but never flowing exactly the same way twice. So I think, well, no, it does kind of skip around a little bit. There are a couple of chapters in here that are thematically what I think of as like fear poems and anxiety poems and survival poems. And this one is, I would call an anxiety or a fear poem. It's called How the Ancients Named the Heart the Seat of Passion. Maybe it was never about the racing pulse, the blood rushing from here to there. Maybe it was always this, the moon gone new beneath my breastbone, throb of nonsense pain. This rough tide pool, small as my two cupped palms. Of course we pinned love here from the start. Of course, we thought the organs could uproot and go wandering, the chest setting circadian as the sun, and clawed all the way down. All right. Now let's have a little fun, maybe. Yeah, sure. Okay. This is called At the Punk Show. Blazing stage lights bare their teeth, and with a wail, the night tears open. Loud enough to feel it through the asphalt underneath your boots. Current cracks across the crowd in bright magnetic lightning whips, our starving bodies drawn like filings toward where our North Star is rising, spinning pits erupting open like natural phenomena when all this fever pitches, rears, and breaks. Now the air smells like the sea, of beer and smoke and human fervor. Sirens call from holy cave mouth, pull your goddamn earplugs out, dash against the fucking rocks. This song will be a rib retractor, every note ratcheting wider, pulling till you open further. This is open heart surgery. I'll tell you, ain't no one ever fixed a break like ours without some pain. So grab a friend and let's get dancing. Here amongst the flotsam clamor, here amidst the joyful anger, righteous fists and reaching hands. Shout until your voice is hoarse and disappears into the chorus. Let the growing roar within you strike against this match of music, setting every hollow space that rang within your chest ablaze. It's not a bleed out. It's the opposite. And out beyond the stage and lights, the city sinks in mist and neon, wandering souls and lingering lovers where the sunset meets the sea. Here, the wave is ever cresting. Here, our heartbreak rings with purpose. Here, with feet and shoulders aching, reaching for one final blessing, ringing like the bells of heaven that no one who's here believes in, to remind us all we're not dead yet. So there are a few in here that are experiments with meter and with kind of formal form. That one was a fun one because I often don't set out to write poems in a formal form, but I'll start writing a poem and I'll realize it's naturally lending itself towards something. So like that one, I was writing it and I was thinking about putting it in meter, and because we're all kind of raised on Shakespeare, we all tend toward, I think, iambic meter, which is, off, on, off, on, off, on. And somehow, I'd been listening to a lot of punk music, and I was like, you know what? A lot of this is actually, it's the opposite. It's trochaic. So it's on, off, on, off, on, off. And it has this really driving, and that's it's what makes punk music have such like a driving rhythm a lot of the time. And so I applied that to the poem, and that's what came out. This one is a sonnet, and I wrote it and realized it was a sonnet afterwards. I kid you not. Like, it needed a little bit of tweaking, but not much. It's called Hand-Holding Sonnet. Perhaps it's all right that your hand in mine overwhelms, blurs, and buzzes out all else. In city streets reduced to shape and light, I list in like a drunkard when I'm held. A horse's heart runs thready in my chest, struggles against time's trail beneath my feet, to let the present moment be the breath in my throat, not the bit between my teeth. And though the future still hides out around the corner, here and now I'm grounded bright, in current that sings new heart songs aloud and holds me here, your left hand in my right. For so long I've been rushing on ahead, but maybe I could linger here instead. Where'd we go? Okay. So as Carol mentioned, I help run a poetry open mic and poetry slam out of Cafe Euphoria in Troy. Our slam team is called Slam Euphoria. I've been helping run that for about a year now, and we are planning on going to the Northeast Regional Poetry Slam in Boston in just about a month, in July, which is very exciting. So my one quick little plug is we have our open mic is every first and third Friday of the month at 7 o'clock at Cafe Euphoria, and the third Friday of this month, June 20th, which is also my birthday, we are having our fundraiser, our kind of fundraising slam to try and raise a little bit of extra money to help pay for travel and accommodations for getting our team to Boston. So if you are free on June 20th and want to hear some cool poetry, come out to Troy. We would love to have you. So, and in honor of that, this is a slam poem that I might be reading in Boston. I haven't quite decided what I'm bringing yet, but it very well might be this one. So this is called The Snap, or Dream of the Werewolf. In the imagined after, you are alone and the worst has already happened. The disaster doesn't matter. Zombies or tribulation, flood or famine, what matters is the silence, the stillness, the kind that spreads through the woods as though from a stalking predator. Maybe there is simply nothing left to name you prey. Every rustle through the underbrush, nothing but the wind, a last companion, blood-scented and forever. This is what you waited for, this doom. Before, you were a tapestry of debts, obligate, omnivore, not of stories, what comes next, tangled in what came before. In the catastrophic world, doom is a lightning strike. It is a sharp knife, the knot snipped neat as a vein from the skein. Doom is a crater. It is a cupped palm to curl up and weep in. In the center, a body failed and wailing, or else nothing. only claw marks. It's the dream of the werewolf, the possession, the rapture abandoned, the fantasy of resting at long last, at rock bottom, a clean raise, a body nothing is asked of but survival. My God, you want to be taken care of. To walk around to the other side of ruin and emerge in empty, rich soil. Barring that, what is left but to long for monstrousness, a form that owes nothing and cannot hurt, that is not ashamed of its hairiness, that runs and runs itself deeper into the earth, camouflaged so well amongst the trees. Look around. Is Thebes not burning? Here and now is the king not dead on his throne. Above, the sky is candy-eyed and bright. Below, the silence, the stillness, the iron breeze. Unhinge your aching jaw. Feel the snap, the release, the relief that at least you can become no more wretched than you already are. How tempting to daydream of disaster as though it would not damn you too. How foolish to think you might slough off this skin as soon as the next waning moon. All right, we'll try to do a little turn towards the positive for these last few. This is called 5-Year Plan. The future is a fist, ever unfurling even as it forms. Time, the only line through the fractals of it, a Jacob's laddering open on our dogged ascent. Each rung of the world is carved by so many palms by the time it fits in mine. I hold each one with reverence, past them behind, batons in a slipping, grasping relay, and also a laying of stones. Letting go was a prairie burning. The deep roots live. The true growth is taking seed. I am shedding my city sycamore, spreading my squat oak strength, welcoming the turkeys home to roost. I am running my hands under the stones of my riverbed, hearing the cool hush click, a settling and unsettling, a rustle, the memory of a flash of fin, fruit that yields beneath my fingers, the triumph of it bright on my wide mouth, my unladdering ribs. Remember when all this now was a dream so sweet you could scarcely picture it. I throw the pit further ahead than I can see. Scrape my palm, catch the next rung, lay the next stone. Trust that somewhere far ahead it is growing, growing. Yeah, let's see. This is called Love Letter from Quarantine. Gotta have a COVID poem in there somewhere. Gotta. There's a couple in here. This is one of them. When you are not here, you are less real. I can't ever explain it without feeling like an infant or some kind of particularly winsome dog, but it isn't forgetting so much as a matter of gravity. You come and the world warps around the shape of you. Body heat and solidity where once there was only ephemera. I am so used to being alone. You go, and the world shrinks back to the shape of that solitude with the elasticity of long practice. Only small gaps left in the shape of texts, photos, plans for next weekend. We each return, The color balance recalibrating around your voice's tumbling burr, I relearn to see myself, relearn to be the person I was, and also this you person, reborn when you are in sight of me, that winsome dog again, still learning to pass the mirror test, still forgetting she likes swimming every time. Darling, this is not to say when you go, I do not love you. Only that the dumb animal of me can only hold all the scope of you in memory for so long. This is to say, I love you again every time I see you. This is to say, come back soon. All right. This is my last one. And in addition to, I would say this kind of hits on the other theme in this book, which is I am a craftsman by trade. I make furniture for a living. And something about theoretically doing what you love for a living and the, conflict that can bring, especially when that thing is making, literally making things. So there's a few in here about that, but this is called Better. I could be better, I tell you on the phone, sunset smearing orange across the dirty windows. I could wash them more often. I know. I could fix the crooked seam on the back of the couch from where I reupholstered it last summer. I could cultivate my life. I could weed the garden, but God, isn't there something about how the dandelions look scattered amongst the irises? Something gorgeously heretical, all that purple and gold. Aren't I good often enough? Sometimes the point is being free to do something badly. Singing, dancing, painting the wall and getting splotches on the ceiling, the air smelling of latex and open windows and delivery pizza. I want to finger paint my way to you, clawing gleefully through the color, mucked up to my elbows in our joint laughter. I want to pester you with bad guesses about the end of your mystery novel. I want to fill the sink with wildflowers and eat off paper until they wilt. No more choreography. I want to dance so badly it looks painful. A dance so ugly its only redeeming quality is its joy. So unrepentant there is nothing to be done for it but for you to join along. Thank you.